First of all, we got our pal Spencer, who's on Facebook jail right now.
Oh, is he on Facebook jail again?
He is. He is. Yeah.
As controversial as I am on, especially Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. Sometimes, if you come on there screwing with me about Trump, I've done some things that would have put me in Facebook jail. But I don't know if being verified gets you a pass on some things or not. But I've heard of verified people getting in jail too. But they have never put me in jail on Facebook or Twitter. And Twitter, I basically try to get in jail every day when it comes to Trump. I mean, I'm just on his ass from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. So why is he in jail?
He sent me a post. He basically there was a post of somebody doing some crazy, nasty stuff to some animals, and he basically went off on the person saying he would do the same thing to the animals, and that pretty much caused him to be.
Say he would do the same thing to the animals.
I mean, to him. Not,
that would make him as bad as the guy that sent.
Well, I meant the same thing to what he's doing to the animals to the guy. I misspoke. Sorry. So he would, and
you can feel that way, but you can't really make that post.
Yeah. So
I understand his anger. No one loves animals more than me. You know that. And yes, we can feel that way, but you can't really say that you're going to strip a person's skin down off their back, pour rubbing alcohol on it, piss on them, and then set them on fire. You can't say that.
That's pretty much what he said.
Even though I just did. Now, anybody that hurt an animal, man, is just a sick piece of shit to me.
Yeah.
You got something running through your veins that I do not have. And, man, I was watching an episode of Daniel Boone the other day, and this big, beautiful buck was coming up through the woods, and Israel asked Daniel for the gun so he could shoot it. And I want you to know that bothered me, even though I'm a huge Daniel Boone fan. It bothered me that little fucking kid, even though back then you were shooting them for food, I just, and I'm an atheist. I think everybody knows that by now. But if there is a God, and if he made you, he made that deer, he made that cat, he made that dog, he made that bird. And I just don't think he put them here for us to eat. And no one eats more burgers than me, sadly. And it's the way I was brought up, though. I mean, if I'd never been fed a burger, I wouldn't know any better. If I'd never been fed chicken, I wouldn't know any better. But I just find it hard to believe that he made us, like I said, if there was a God, that he made us, but he made all these other sub creatures for us to eat. I just have a problem with that. If I really truly should be a vegetarian, I really should. If I wasn't such a hypocrite, I wouldn't eat. And Chris quit eating hamburgers for a long time for that very reason, is because he thought it was just terrible to, if he had to kill the cow and eat it, he'd never eat one. Well, me either. I wouldn't either. I'd never have sausage. I'd never have bacon. And I've had all those things, and I still do. But we don't process it through our head where that meat came from. If they had a picture of the cow they killed on the package, a lot of us wouldn't eat it. If they had a picture of the pig that provided the bacon and sausage for you, oh, here's the guy you're eating today. And of course, there's a lot of people out there who wouldn't give a shit. They can just look at, I'll eat that goddamn pig, But I just find it hard to believe that he made us and then made all these other beautiful creatures, deer, whatever, from an alligator to a snake to a deer to a cow to whatever, that lamb and sheep. I just find it hard to believe that he would create those for us to eat when we have the vegetables and various other things that we can eat, nuts and berries, the same thing that the animals eat when they're hungry. They don't eat us. Well, they will if we fuck with them.
Well, but there's some animals that do eat other animals too, carnivores.
Yeah, and but they're not really, in most cases, their source of food. But then again, bears love to eat fish. I love fish. And but I just don't know why. Some will say, well, it's a circle of life. But I just can't believe that a all-knowing, all-seeing, all-powerful God would make all these beautiful things. And a deer is a beautiful animal. I mean, you can look at an alligator. Yeah. You can look at not an alligator, but you can look at a fish, and you can look at other things. Well, that must have been made to be eaten. But I just don't know why you would make a living, breathing thing for somebody else to eat it, because that would mean that we're on that circle too. Apparently, we were here to feed the dinosaurs, the ones that ate meat. And I don't think that's how it was intended. And that's why I lean more to the science side of things when it comes to creation and all that. And but I guess if you're hungry enough, you look for something to eat. But there's been plane crashes to where people look around at each other and say, "Some bitch, when you die, we're all eating," and or maybe they don't wait for them to die and then they eat them. So I guess if you're hungry enough, you'll eat anything, and that's kind of where that comes from. But and I've just developed that thought process recently, to where why in the fuck would he make those beautiful animals just for us to eat them? I don't think that was his intent. But as Dennis Miller used to say, I could be wrong. All right.
I mean, but if he made them for us to eat, and he can make them beautiful or ugly. I mean, would you rather eat something pretty instead of something ugly?
No. I've seen you. You only eat ugly. I've seen you. I know your history. Let's move on.
Oh boy. We can go way to the level with that one. Good. All right, so
let's get some more questions in here. What do we got?
Yeah, let's let me back up a little bit. One of the questions earlier was about one of the questions earlier. I wanted to know what you thought about the Nation of Domination. And most of those guys were champions. What did you think about that stable?
Well, and Dundee's son was in that for a little bit. Had a little bit of a run up there. Another one that's had his issues over the years. I like the Nation of Domination. It wasn't necessarily one of my favorite deals, and I always thought it was cool when The Rock basically took it over from, was it Ron Simmons?
Yeah, Farouk.
Ron Farouk was the main guy, and then The Rock took it over. And let's face it, before Rock did that, no one knew he was going to be a big star. They hated his first gimmick. And oh my God! And I just noticed in WWE that, and I like this guy a lot, Eric Young.
Yeah.
How many gimmicks is Eric Young going to have in a 5-year period?
I don't know. I like the sanity gimmick, though. I like that whole.
I hate the sanity gimmick.
Really? I like
it a billion times. How many times do we have evil creatures hanging out in the back locker room that all of a sudden come out and they're going to scare and terrorize everybody? And WWE's got like 3 or 4 teams that are kind of like that right now. The big, the Basham, not the Basham brothers. The 2 brothers that carry sledgehammers. See, guys, my memory.
The ones right now, the Belgian brothers.
The who?
The Belgian brothers. Is that what they're
called? They're not the Belgian brothers. Even I know that.
The people, the guys right now, right? The ones that are
2 big guys with the sledgehammers, wear masks. Used to be in the Wyatt family.
Yeah, it's the Belgian brothers, right?
They're not the Belgian brothers. No, they're not the Bludgeon.
Bludgeon, that's what it is. Okay.
Belgium, you moron. You're right, folks. You're right. I need a new host. The Belgian brothers. Now that you've said that, some dumb fuck in the back of WWE, the Belgian brothers. We'll get 2 guys from Belgium. They'll be brothers.
No, it's a running joke on my podcast. We call them the Belgian. We come up with different names from. It's just it was an inside thing.
They're the goddamn reject Wyatt brothers, is what they are. I mean, my God, what a stupid fucking gimmick that they expect anybody to believe or buy. But you know what? We bought the Undertaker for God knows how many times, and then Kane and but there's just so many stupid fucking gimmicks. And now that Eric Young is in his 19th gimmick, I mean, I like Eric Young. He's a good guy. He was one of the only reasons I used to watch TNA back when Cornette was there. And I told Jimmy that Eric Young was the most entertaining guy on the whole goddamn show. And he was scared of pyro and all his shit. And his original gimmick that I saw him out on TNA was my favorite. And then he had a gimmick where he was supposed to be a badass like Steve Austin. And that was my criticism of Mr. Used to hold the microphone, Mr. from Green Bay, Wisconsin. What was his name?
Kennedy.
Mr. Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, do I have a functioning brain cell left in my head. I can't remember anybody's name anymore. I don't even know why I do podcasts. Why I forget to do them. I shouldn't be doing them. I forget that I even have them. But
that's a shoot, guys. That's a shoot.